Welcome to Just One Day, the channel dedicated to travel enthusiasts in search of unique and exciting experiences to explore the world's cities in just 24 hours. Today, we'll take you to Venice, universally recognized as a jewel of architecture, art, and engineering, built on foundations reclaimed from the waters of the lagoon. It's also the city with the highest density of masterpieces per square kilometer, teeming with commercial activities in its narrow city streets, craftsmanship, cuisine, and music, just to name a few. What sets Venice apart from the rest of the world is that it's built on water. When is the best time to visit Venice? From a climate perspective, it is recommended to visit during the spring, between Easter and June, or early autumn, September. However, the city is also enchanting in winter, especially during the festivities of the Venice Carnival, which usually takes place between late January and mid-February. The period to avoid is the summer, when temperatures hover around 27 degrees, but the heat feels more intense due to high humidity. In the midst of autumn, rainfall can cause the water levels to rise, leading to flooding. Venice has a moderately continental and typically pedane climate, with cold and humid winters and hot, muggy summers, influenced by the presence of the Adriatic Sea. Rainfall is quite high between May and June, as well as in the early part of winter when flooding and fog are frequent. January and February are the coldest months of the year, with temperatures ranging from 0 degrees to 7 degrees, but snow is a rare sight. The transitional seasons are particularly pleasant, with temperatures settling between 16 degrees to 19 degrees. As for the aspect of affordability, Venice is not one of the most budget-friendly European cities, but with some careful planning, you can save money. The best months for a budget-friendly vacation in Venice are October, November, March, and April. Span class equals QL cursor. During the fall, the phenomenon of high water discourages many tourists and lowers hotel and restaurant prices significantly. At the end of March, the extravagance of Carnival, one of the peak tourist seasons, has just concluded, making it easier to find good deals. Span. Now we are ready to start our one-day tour of Venice. Are you ready to join us? Great, let's go! Begin your day in Venice at one of the absolute highlights, the Rialto Bridge, the oldest of the 4 bridges built over the Grand Canal. The Rialto Bridge, a symbol of Venice's grandeur during the Serenissima, is the oldest and most famous among the 4 bridges spanning the Grand Canal. Known worldwide for its beauty and as a remarkable example of Renaissance architecture, it was the focal point of Venice's economy for many years. In the early 1500s, there were discussions about replacing the previous wooden bridge, which had burned and collapsed several times. After rejecting designs by famous architects like Michelangelo, Palladio, and Sansovino, the project was entrusted to Antonio da Ponte, one of the most skilled Venetian engineers of the time. Construction began in 1588 and was completed in 1591, serving as the only link between the two sides of the Grand Canal until 1854. The bridge is characterized by a single arch spanning over 28 meters, richly decorated, supported by 12,000 wooden pilings in its foundations. There are 24 shops distributed on both sides of the structure, originally housing mostly goldsmiths, jewelers, and artisans. It is a must to cross the bridge and take a photo from above, where you can enjoy a magnificent view of the Grand Canal, stretching for 4 kilometers through Venice in an S shape. Just one day's recommendation: visit it in the morning as the bridge gets extremely crowded during the day, making it almost impassable. Starting your itinerary here allows you to enjoy it peacefully and admire the view of the Grand Canal without being swept away by the crowds. From the Rialto Bridge, in just 8 minutes on foot, you can reach another one of the city's most photographed attractions, the Bridge of Sighs. Without a doubt, it's one of the most famous bridges in Venice. The Bridge of Sighs is one of the most iconic symbols of Venice. It is located just a short walk from St. Mark's Square and connects the Doge's palace through the ancient prisons. Most people take a photograph or a selfie with the Bridge of Sighs in the background, because it is considered one of the most romantic places in Venice. For this reason, it is also called the Bridge of Love or the Lover's Bridge. Many gondolas pass through this structure, offering a unique view of the lagoon. We are accustomed to calling it the Lover's Bridge, but the reason it has this name is quite different. It is, in fact, a structure built to connect the prisons to the Doge's palace. All prisoners had to cross this narrow passage to receive their final sentence. As they crossed this bridge, they knew they would never leave the prison until their death, so they sighed while admiring the outside world for the last time. It has nothing to do with lovers, therefore. A little piece of trivia: according to popular tradition, the name Bridge of Sighs was first used by the English poet Lord Byron, who was hosted in Venice for several years due to debts and scandals following him from England. Unfortunately, time is limited, so you won't be able to visit the interior, but you can't miss stopping to take at least one photo from the outside. Just one day's recommendation: don't settle for the usual photo in front of the bridge, capture it from a different perspective. Reach the Memoria Bridge, just behind St. Mark's Square, near the Church of San Teodoro, and enjoy the spectacle. From the Bridge of Sighs, you can reach St. Mark's Square in no time, the true heart of the city. A real symbol of the lagoon city, St. Mark's Square has made Venice famous worldwide. From being the center of power of the most serene Republic of Venice to a daily attraction visited by thousands of tourists. But what is there to see in St. Mark's Square? Doge's Palace, the center of power of the most serene Republic of Venice. The Doge's Palace is an imposing and majestic building, once the residence of the Doge and the seat of government. Behind the imposing facade of the Doge's Palace, there are vast halls richly decorated with sculptures and frescoes created by artists such as Jacopo Sansovino, Tiepolo, and Tintoretto, but at the same time, there are terrible prisons from which, as the legend goes, only one man managed to escape: Giacomo Casanova. St. Mark's Basilica, it is also called the Golden Cathedral because of the richness of the ceilings that adorn its interior. Once you pass through the main entrance, the wonder of St. Mark's Basilica leaves you both ecstatic and amazed. Visiting St. Mark's Basilica is a unique and almost mystical experience. When you enter, your eyes barely have time to adjust from light to shadow before they are captivated by the thousand glimmers of the golden mosaic tiles. After all, if it was already nicknamed the Golden Church in the 11th century, there must be a reason. St. Mark's Basilica weaves history and faith, east and west, art and opulence. Its beauty is unique, the result of architectural influences and artistic layers. With its opulence and increasing embellishments over the centuries, it tells the stories that made the Republic of Venice great. St. Mark's Campanile, this imposing tower is easily recognizable even from a distance. Standing at 98.6 meters tall, it has a tumultuous history dating back to before the year 1000. St. Mark's Campanile collapsed dramatically on July 7, 1902, so what we see today is a reconstruction. Even today, there are several teams of engineers ensuring the stability of the structure with titanium reinforcement systems. Building in the lagoon has never been easy. Just one day's advice: there are so many things to see in St. Mark's Square. In addition to the three mentioned, we also highlight the Loggia del Sansovino, located right at the base of the Campanile. The Torre dei Mori, also known as the Clock Tower. Piazzetta dei Leoncini and the legend of San Teodoro. It is attached to the more famous St. Mark's Square in Venice and is much less known, even though most of the tourist flow passes through here on the way to the main attractions of the main square. Piazzetta dei Leoncini is located to the left, next to the Basilica, just beyond the Clock Tower. We recommend focusing on the Basilica and then taking a gondola ride, departing from the Molo del Giglio. The fourth stop of the day is the Scala Contarini del Bovolo. Hidden among the small streets of Venice, if you're not aware of its existence, you're unlikely to stumble upon it by chance. The original construction of the building is believed to date back to the 14th century. It is a magnificent and imposing spiral staircase from which you can enjoy a splendid view of the city, its rooftops, and St. Mark's Campanile. Definitely one of the hidden gems you shouldn't miss. According to legend, Pietro Contarini had a similar staircase built to be able to ride a horse up to his bedroom, which was on the top floor of the building. The fifth and final step, Teatro della Fenice and the Accademia Bridge. After your visit to the Scala Contarini del Bovolo, which will take approximately 1 hour, head towards the Accademia Bridge, but before that, make sure to stop and take a photo of Teatro della Fenice, a place filled with magic, charm, and history where the greatest artists have performed. Unfortunately, there isn't enough time to explore the interior, but when you return to Venice, a guided tour is a must. Continue your stroll through the narrow streets of Venice, first reaching Campo Santo Stefano, one of the largest squares in the city, and finally arriving at the Accademia Bridge, the southernmost of the 4 bridges on the Grand Canal. It gets its name from the nearby Accademia Gallery and is one of the best vantage points to enjoy one of the most beautiful views of Venice. In front of you, you'll find the majestic Basilica of Santa Maria della Salute, the best spot to admire the sunset. Now that the one-day tour is over, our recommendation is to find a typical Venetian place called a Baccaro nearby, where you can enjoy a traditional aperitivo. Just a short walk from the Accademia Bridge, you'll find one of the most famous baccari in all of Venice, Canteen del Vino Schiavi. Stop here to have a spritz or a glass of wine accompanied by many local products. Here are some useful tips. Evaluate the Vaporetto Pass. If you plan to travel by sea using the Vaporetto, we recommend purchasing a pass for discounted travel. Consider the Venice City Pass. Depending on your itinerary and the attractions you want to visit, the city card may be useful, and it also includes access to the Doge's Palace. Be mindful of parking. Getting to Venice by train is the easiest option, but if you arrive by car, be aware of the high parking costs. Book visits and tours in advance. With only one day available, it's important to plan and book all your visits in advance to avoid long queues, especially in St. Mark's Square. Wear comfortable shoes. In Venice, you'll do a lot of walking, and even though distances may not be very long, there are many bridges and stairs. So, wear comfortable shoes and always carry a water bottle, especially on hot summer days. Finally, like every place in Italy, food is a part of the culture, and in Venice, you can savor delightful dishes such as bacala mantecato, a pleasantly unique version of the usual salted cod we're used to. It becomes a delightful appetizer or a highlight of Venetian aperitifs. The trick lies in the preparation. The fish is cooked in milk and then transformed into a soft mousse, simply served with toasted bread or polenta, making it a pleasant treat. Rice bisi, this is rice with peas, and its seemingly simple recipe has even been patented. Rice bisi offers the perfect creamy balance between a soup and a simple risotto. Fegato alla veneziana, this dish has an intense flavor, with the contrast of veal liver cooked with butter and the sweet taste of onions. When served with polenta, it becomes a flavorful dish that satisfies even the most discerning palates. Bigoli in salsa, a hearty first course made with a type of thick spaghetti made of durum wheat, served with a special sauce of onions and sardines. Originally served on Christmas Eve, you can now order it in restaurants year-round. If you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Greetings from Just One Day, the perfect channel for travel enthusiasts looking for unique and exciting ways to explore cities around the world in just 24 hours. Until the next journey, goodbye.